I got characters that I'm working on. Um, Let me share a little bit first. Oh, we go. Shut the shut the hell up. There we go. Shut the hell up. All right, let me show this off right quick. Do, 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 do. Around. This is one of my bad guys. Uh, I drew him earlier today. His name is Roughneck, and he's going to be like one of the underbosses. He's going to be the underboss to the underworld organization known as the Guild. So, yeah, he's like the face. He's the representative. Their representative. He does all of the face to face with other high ups in the underworld type of situation. He deals with other bosses, underbosses, any type of serious things with their organization, their businesses. He's the guy that really takes care of it. He has people under him that, of course, works under him or works for him or whatever, but he's the guy who um, handles all of these operations because the big boss he's busy doing his own thing, and his name, well, that'll come another time. But yeah, this is the guy. I'm working on him, and yeah, I've had his name in my book for a long time in the Bible. Just in case y'all don't know, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Let me get right to this. Elmo realm. We'll get right to this slave. That's the kind of slave I wants to be, and that's the truth. Everybody does it. Everybody. This is my Bible. This is a book filled with names. I've been collecting names in this book, and these composition notebooks that you use in high school, and right in here, that's the pencil. There's pencils in all three of them. There's three books, and they're tied together with this string here, all of the string, and I also use the extra string as a bookmark. But anyway, I've been collecting names from all over the place, mostly TV, and when I watch videos and stuff like that, I usually leave the I put on the captions so that I can see the words, and when something pops up that I like, I write it down and I look it up, and if it has a meaning that fits, because it has to sound menacing in some way. It has to have some kind of feeling when I hear it that makes me feel, hey, that would be a nice name. It sounds like it's dangerous, or it sounds like it's powerful, or it sounds like it has something energetic about it. Something that you look for in a good quality name. And then others are just off my head that I might have put two words together in order to make, like, Starfire. That's not mine. That's not mine. But like Blackmail. Blackmail is one of my characters, and I showed him. He's in the Bible. That's the only place I've ever drawn him, is in the Bible. But I pulled him out so that I can start trying to get him together for drawing. Is he in here? No, he's not. He is. He's back here. There he is. Come on, Craig. See, it's hard to see him because he was drawn on the pages, and I have his. I wrote his origin story out here next to him. But yeah, he's like a knight, and he has these oversized weapons. I kind of was into the anime. I'm still into anime, but that's where I said, "Hey, I like that oversized weapon stuff." So let me make me a couple of some characters with oversized weapons. So that's where I got the super mace from, and um, and the sword. Well, the sword is a little bit big, but it's more like a great sword. But anyway, his name is Blackmail, and mail means armor. So black armor, blackmail, black knight. So anyway, yeah, he's a character. I have to draw him. I put him here so that I could draw him. So I just haven't gotten around to it because I got so many other characters. He'll be coming in way down the line. He'll because Might, I'm using Might as a vehicle to bring in a bunch of other characters so that I can introduce them and then spin them off into their own books. So that's he's going to be one of those characters, but he's going to come way down the line because he's going to bring a whole bunch of other characters with him, and bad guys, good guys. That's why I say he's gonna. I'll probably have bad guys come first and then him behind them. So I'm not sure one way or the other whether he shows up first in Mike's city, Portsburg. Either he'll show up there first or the bad guys will, and he'll come at to save somebody's ass and be introduced. But anyway, yeah. So let's get to it. Oh yeah, thousands of names are in here. Thousands of names, and a lot of them have like descriptions next to them or definitions, just so that I can keep idea of what I was thinking about at the time of inspiration, and when I wrote the name down. So yeah, so that's Roughneck. He's gonna be the underboss. I still got some more to do on him. I don't. It's not finished. I gotta add some more stuff. But so far, this is what I have. Uh, like I got a lot of characters, and I was gonna be there's like 30 that I have to design because I know they're gonna be in the book. At least 30, and that's let me see. Is that including the bad guys? Let me see, 15, 18. That's close to 25 good guys. So that means another at least 25 bad guys. And their cohorts and all of these other things. So yeah, there's a lot that I'm designing for this. That's why it's taking me a while to get it out there. I don't want to be just saying stuff and not putting and I haven't really been putting a lot out there, but there's a reason. So I'm trying to get this ink and shit down because I'm not used to it. I'm a penciler. I've been penciling all my life, and I haven't penciled since '85. So I mean, haven't inked since '85. So when I created this character, and he's gonna be in the book, he's gonna have an origin story inside the book. This guy, Mega. This is the first character I created. Well, not my first, but he's the first one that I really fell in love with and gave a name and started building a storyline and all of that. And this is after I was around 18, 19. I'm in my late 50s now. So this guy, he's like one of my favorite characters. Because this is one of the first drawings that I drew after studying muscle magazines. That's why the pose and the really bulky legs. That came from studying muscle magazines. So yeah, um, look for these guys because they're gonna be coming. They're gonna be coming, baby. This was done in '85, and I think the next one, at least this was done in 2002. 2002. This is the updated version of him. So, and when you first see him, he's not going to look anything like this because I have to I'm redoing him again because I don't like. Well, I've changed his name, so he used to be the Mega Mutant, but I shortened it. He's no longer. I don't deal with mutants because that's Stan Lee stuff. So I don't do mutants no more. I made up my own names, and so I got my own characters, my own names, my own everything. So this is Mega, and he's going to be coming in there. One of my big dudes, one of my first big dudes. He's going to be showing up in there. Well, there's going to be bad guys. That's going to be pretty big, but yeah, he's going to be my first good guy, big dude. So and he's going to be powerful. So yeah, okay, let's get to it. Slaves. It's the kind of slave I was supposed to be. Yeah, buddy. So, yeah, here we go. That's the kind of slave I was supposed to be. That's not it. That's not it. Here we go. I don't know why, but we are. We do. We enjoy being slaves all the time, and we are slave to music. We are slave to politics. We are slave to our fantasies and dreams. We are slave to TV and movies. We are slave to fashion. We find things that hold on to, even though they really hold no real significance in real life. The only things that's important in life is eating, survival, and that means eating, having a safe place to sleep, being able to procreate, and having shelter. So everything else, being able to provide for yourself, and that means just being able to feed yourself. And the way systems is set up, you got to get up to do it anyway, right? In order to feed yourself, you have to get up and hunt and do whatever. But in this system, it says that you have to work for another person. And that's what slavery is. When you have to work for another person who's then has guidelines on your life and how you operate. And this is what I don't agree with because I think that there's an easier, better way, but people are cowards. People are afraid. People don't want to know the true freedom because it's too much work. They're too caught up on what life is now and they don't want to know anything else. So they're stuck on being a slave to the system. Even though this is our country, there's more of us than there are of anybody else. We're Americans. We own this. It's ours, not theirs. So it's not the government's, it's not police, it's not military. It's ours. It's the populace. And instead of we could change it because the system is fake. Everything is made up, just like money, uh, the economic system, the Wall Street, all of these things are made up systems. All of them are made up in order to keep us in control. And the system is built on the idea of enslaving you because you it keeps us fighting against each other so that we can't come together in order to fight the real enemy, which is the system. The system is garbage. And it was built that way from this in inception. The system is built in order to keep you, get this a little closer. The system was built in order to keep you fighting against your peers. That's why there's two systems. That's why there's the Republicans and the Democrats. And that was built that way from the beginning, to always have us fighting against each other. And there's no reason for that. Why can't there just be one party, all working towards giving us what the public needs instead of fighting against each other, fighting against one another all the time? That's a system of control in order to keep you off of the prize of having true freedom, being able to do things the way you need to do them, how you need to do them. Animals have true freedom, have way more freedom than humans. So you're gonna say, and we are animals. So, and I know you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm not no animal," or "I'm not this, I'm not that," or "We're better than animals." No, we're not. We're not better than animals. And if we are better than animals, how come we don't have more freedom than them? We should have more freedom than any animal. But you have animals out here getting murdered or dying off just because of how we operate, and that's the only reason why they're not as free as they should be, because we're taking over all of their feeding grounds and living quarters and all of that. And that's the same thing that we do to ourselves. The system is built on enslaving us. Why is there a need for the class system? Why is there a need for that? Because that's the only way the system can work. Capitalism can't work without class, because it's built on having you looking at somebody else and being envious. It's run on jealousy and envy. And meanwhile, while you're looking at the next person and being envious of what they have and talking about what you should have and what or thinking about what you should have or what you deserve to have, the only thing that you really need is food, clothing. Well, as long as you got shelter, but food, clothing, okay, just the that's part of the basics, right? Especially these days. But food, clothing, the ability to procreate so that the race won't die out, and shelter. Everything else is luxury. Everything else is uh, fabrication in order to enslave us, in order to be lazy, and our laziness enslaves us because we would rather not do things. Laziness is a bitch because that laziness is killing us. We would rather be lazy than do things for ourselves. You see it all the time. There are always this and that to make things easy. Here we go. Let's do a little sharing. Let's see what I can pull up here. So, what we're gonna pull up here is some video about I was thinking, right? I lost my train of thought and I lost the video that I was going to pull up. We are slaves. We are slaves. That's what I get. I know I'm going to talk about fashion, but I'm talking about something else. See, now I'm going to have to just come back to that later. Yeah, so we are slaves to everything. We are slaves to fashion. We are slaves to our laziness. We don't want to do things for ourselves. Here we go. That's what I was talking about. So now we can get where I was talking. Okay. Okay. Do you know that our laziness is something that is killing us on a regular basis? That things like let's check this out. Hold on, let me go back. Let's share some sound. I don't even think we need sound. Yeah, we don't need sound. We don't need sound. All right, let's check this out. You've ever seen any of these? I should have had this queued up, right? See, that's unpreparedness. I should have had this all queued up. But you've seen non-stick pan commercials, and this is all based on laziness. You don't want your food to stick. You don't want this. You want it easy, just slide out the pan, right? Non-stick pan, that's progress, right? And you think that progress is something that should be good for you and everything that you need, but because we are slaves to our laziness and we want to buy all of this bullshit that these people tell us, we'll accept everything and anything. And it's just like the vaccines. They tell us all of this bullshit and it winds up to be horseshit. And before you know it, we're stuck with nothing and getting punked. Now, I just want to show this. I showed something about this before. And this is something that everybody should know. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, light my fire. I'm gonna set the light on fire. Now, non-stick pans, remember that. Non-stick pans. This should be something that Why would you want something like that put in your food? Why would you want something like that? Here we go. Now we talking about non-stick pans, so just listen. And this is this is good usage. This is good usage. Don't fuck me up here. But we talking about these toxic fumes that homeboy was talking about. You see all of that? Just from wanting things easier, to have things not stick and just ease out of your pan. When you cook, when you go out to one of these fancy restaurants, what do you think that they feeding you? Food cooked out of a non-stick pan. When I was in science class, one thing that I learned and I've always remembered since high school is that whenever you touch a surface to another surface, or an object to another object, this is like physics. There's always a transfer on some level. And if that's the case, that means whatever you touch, you leave some skin on it, and whatever the thing you touched leaves something on you, even on a molecular level. And enough of that touching, so repeated touching can build up. Even if you touch something metal, if you hold it in your hand for a while and then put it down and smell your hand, it'll smell like metal. That's because there's a transfer. And they're talking about this is what they're doing. They're giving you toxic shit. And they don't care. You see, pans come out all of the time. They come, they go, and then somebody else comes, and they go, and then somebody else comes, and they go. And they all got these new non-stick this new stone, porcelain, granite, all of this crap. But there's a reason why it doesn't stick. Forever chemicals, and I've talked about that on this channel before. Forever chemicals is killing people. Let's hear that again. Thousands of years. Why would, and that stuff builds up in your system. If it stays around for thousands of years, it's going to stay in you forever. So every time you cook, you put in another dose of forever chemicals in your system. And we don't care. And we keep letting these people toxify our foods. They say it's in everything. Cardboard that you bring pizza boxes, the plastic, the styrofoam that you put your food and your meats in, the cans, everything that you fucking touch and you use and you put you put food into, or clothes, like dyes and all kinds of stuff like that. And we think that we're free. No, and we accept it. Yassa Massa, we's a good nigga. That's how it is. Because we don't question anything until somebody comes up and says that's bad for you. And then we want to say, no, that's not fair. But where were you when they was shoving this new shit in your face? Ooh, I want that. Ooh, I would like to get that. They come out with a new phone. That shit's giving you testicular cancer. The radiation is coming off of it. They coming out with new cars, which with even bigger batteries, because that's what's running the whole thing. And if a little phone could cause you cancer, what can a big ass electric car, that a battery that weighs tons, probably 2 tons, and and what do you think that's gonna do to you? But people will say, "Oh, later for the gas, I want electric." What's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference? People are so hung up to this bullshit mentality, slave to the system. So whatever Massa say, whether it's the media, yassa Massa, whether it's the government, yassa Massa, whether it's the motherfucking police, yassa Massa, whether it's the corporations, yassa Massa, boss, Osby's a good nigga. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's a man-made chemical, just like everything else. We think everything's good. This is progress. Tell me something. Where are we progressing to? We got women's bullshit, this feminism crap that's taking us back. People can't have no free speech. You can't have choice on who you want to date. You can't have choice on, even though women are supposed to be free, we still paying child support for women who are sleeping around. How is this freedom? Yasamasa, Yasamasa, and y'all just want to do that. That's all y'all care about is this illusion, these fantasies, and y'all tell yourselves because y'all want to believe in money. It's all fake. It means it's just paper, but people don't care about that. They want that fantasy of being millionaire, living on a yacht and a mansion and all of that shit instead of just being able to live. Do you realize that we're just making ourselves weaker and weaker? That we're losing our teeth because of our bullshit, petty laziness. We don't want to cook, so we eating this fast food. We eat all this processed food at home. Nobody wants. We cook our food. That's another thing. Cooking your food, and I know that you have to do it because of the way we process our food. But that's the same thing that I'm talking about. We force ourselves into eating this processed food, and because we eat this garbage and we cook the food, we don't gnaw on our meat, we don't gnaw on bones, we don't gnaw on vegetables. Because of that, evolution says you don't need that shit, so get rid of that bitch. Oh man, tell me the battery's dead. Oh man. Oh. I thought the battery wouldn't work for a second, man. All right, I got it back. All right. There you go. All right, we got it working again. We got it working. All right, that's enough. All right, sorry about that. But that's what I'm talking about. We handing over our freedom for laziness. That's why people are overweight today. And you can't even say that they're overweight because, oh, you're some kind of racist or you're bigot or you hate, you're some kind of phobe or the monk or whatever they want to call you. So how is this not slavery? when everything around you says you can't do this? How's that freedom? At best, you're a sharecropper. At best. Because you can't do nothing without having to pay. You just can't go out and pick something off a tree without catching a ticket. Bear shit in the woods. You try doing that. Oh, because we live in a society. Society is what we say it is, not them. If we was free, we could change it. We don't like it. And out of everything we see in nowadays with this COVID shit, you got to see, as soon as something happens, all our prices go up. Yeah, they start throwing money around, but they're going to make you pay for it. All of your prices start going up. Then what? How is any of this good for us when all we have to do is work? You just need the labor. You don't need the money. If you want to be free, let's get rid of that shit. You want to solve the problem? Let's get rid of money. This is the problem. Then all of these fake people in the government go away. You know what they become? Bookkeepers. They'll be the people making sure that we get what we supposed to get, making sure that whatever need that's created in one state gets to the other state so that we can make this stuff and all come together to make our own clothing, to have our farms closer to us so that we don't have to ship food so far, so that we have to chemically charge it with all of this crap. Let's get off of the slave crap. We don't even get to say how our food is grown. And then when they do change it, it goes up. I remember back in the day, we're gonna start using pesticides because it's gonna save. We're gonna save a lot of crops. So they use pesticides. Pesticides make you sick. Okay, let's take pesticides out, but we gotta charge more. What? You charged us more when you took it out. Now you're charging us more. I mean, when you put it in. Now when you're taking it out, all you got to do is not put the shit in, and that's gonna cost more. Okay. Oh, so let's genetically modify our fruit and foods so that we can stop uh, other creatures from eating it, and we'll prosper more. So they genetically altered. Oh, that's causing us genetic alterations and fucking up the food and causing us problems. Oh, so okay. I doubt if they said, yeah, they said non-genetically modified. There's non-genetically modified foods out there. Because, that's got to go up. The price is more. When they put it in, the price goes up. They take it out, the price goes up. Everything they do, the price goes up. How come we can't just do our own thing? How come we can't have farms near our home so that we can walk to work and or if not work, walk, just hop on the bus? I know we need to get rid of our fuel consumption, so we need to get rid of cars. Let us walk. Let's put in that work instead of being so lazy. Put in that extra work instead of being so lazy. And all of that lets these people, because when they know that we're getting lazy, they know they have the power, because what are they doing now? You got to do what we tell you to do, otherwise we're going to take it away from you. We're going to take away your right, your ability to work. We're going to take away your ability to do this. We're going to take you to entertain yourselves, because you're not going to get the Pope. What? You caused the problem. And now we gotta you already cost people jobs, homes, living conditions, all kinds of things. And now you coming back with more shit, talking about saving people who don't want to help themselves. How is that not slavery? We enslaved to people. Listen to this garbage. So, okay, you think that mesh ain't transferring? It's in his stomach, up against moisture all the time. And you think it's not degrading inside of him? Or not even say fuck it, it's not. I don't know anything that doesn't degrade. Even plastic degrades over time. So you got this thing inside, moisture environment, a heated 90 something degree moisture filled environment, and there's no transference of chemicals of this toxicity thing that he's talking about. None. Remember what I said about physics? Teflon. Isn't that the chemicals that he's talking about in the nonstick pan? Let's listen to this Teflon shit. All right. And that's Teflon, the shit that this dude was just talking about being in his stomach. But that's what I'm talking about. We are dependent on everything, and people don't want to get off of it. Cigarettes. People, they say we got to get rid of cigarettes. And instead of motherfuckers just stop smoking, what they do, they get this vaping shit. Oh, that's better because it doesn't smell. You can't smell it. But they didn't say, I told people, I have a family member that still smokes, always smoking cigarettes and vaping, doing both. So I was like, yo, don't light that shit up around me. I don't want to smell. I don't want that shit inhaling my lungs. Well, what do you can't smell it. That's even worse. At least I can, if I can smell it, I know that it's around me. I can move. But you can't smell this shit. So you're gonna all of that, those toxic chemicals and metals and all of that shit they say is in vaping. Now it's invisible and it's in the air and you're inhaling it and you don't even know you're inhaling it. But y'all think it's better because motherfuckers are slaves. They're too weak to say no. What? Slave to everything. Slave to food. You can't say no, so you get overweight. You get fat. Slave to stupidity. Slave to the system. Slave to fantasy. Slave to the to the cosplay and comic books and I love comic books. I'm yeah, but I'm talking about how people are so don't do this to my character, and I agree. I trust me, I agree 100%. Comics skate for life. I agree 100%. Don't fuck around with people's comics. If I create something, I don't want nobody after I die to be able to come and say we're gonna just change your character and make him this and make him that because some weak individual needs somebody to say, "Hey, we see you." You're not supposed to be seen. Come on. This is not how life is intended. You're supposed to be free. Nobody can say, nobody has rights. Nobody has rights. This is a lie. This is another fabrication of the slave, of the Massa mentality. Whenever people start talking about, I've got the right, I know what my right is. You're saying, you're screaming that you ain't got no rights at all. That's what you're saying. Because you wouldn't have to say, I know my rights. If you had rights, you wouldn't have to say that shit. You wouldn't have to say that shit. It's ridiculous. If you have rights, you would not have to say it. Nobody. You just do whatever you're going to do. You see? You see? Laziness. You don't want to scrub and scrape the pans, even though you the motherfucker who's using it, but you want to be out doing nothing. You want to get away from the work so that you could go and relax and be lazy and do your lazy ass stuff. No, you still a slave. Even you white motherfuckers too. You still a slave. The system forces you to be a slave. It forces you to be a slave. From the school system, forces you to do work that's unnecessary in order to indoctrinate you. You don't need to learn all of that shit. You need to learn how to read and do math and do exercise. But all of that other shit, you don't need that shit. Not social sciences, not none of that stuff. All of that shit is bullshit. You that they add to the curriculum. I'm gonna be doing a Monday. We're gonna be doing the Matrix Doctrine on schools, and we're gonna be talking about that. It's all just an indoctrination to keep you on your mind, and that's what slave. What do you think slave masters and slave drivers? Where do you think that stuff comes from? Those terms, well, schools, that's slave driver. It forces you into the mentality. It's the dude with the whip. It's the plantation foreman. That's what schools and corporations and all of these systems of control, the police, all of these things are things that say, no, you can't do this. You got to do what Massa say. All of these things are things that say you got to listen to Massa. And y'all go, yeah, so Massa been good to me. Yes, Massa. Massa been good to me. Yes, you are. You are a slave. People don't want to go to work. Even this dude, you think he wants to go through all of the shit of the makeup and that? He's doing it because he's making a lot of money and it puts him in a place where he can look down on others. And that's what people want. He can have people working for him and say, yes, Mr. Oliver, yes, Mr. Oliver, kissing his ass because he's the commodity that everybody's selling. So everybody who works for him, all of the slaves working for him, he's one too, because he's got to listen to the corporation, HBO. That's Massa whipping everybody. You think just because he's the more liked, because he fucked his mother, so he got a little bit more liking for this slave over the other? You think that makes him any less a slave? You think the house nigga who's in there working on his clothes and cooking his food and cleaning his ass and helping him with all of this shit, you think that any of them are more special or any less the slave? Yeah, Massa, I don't know why. Here we go. and we don't want to get away from any of this. See, this is going to keep going on. It's nothing different. It's the same old shit. But that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We are slaves to everything. We don't want to get off of what we do. We love being slaves, so we stay involved in it. We watch them shit. We get whipped day in and day out. And we stay with it because we want to be the good. We wants to be that type of nigga. We wants to be that type of dude.
I don't know why we leaving Massa's house. He been good to us. He feed us on Saturday, close us on Sunday, and then beat us on Monday. Or was it Tuesday? I don't know.
Jasper, I just want to go. I was a house nigga, Jasper.
What?
Jasper, don't you want freedom? We going to Promised Land. The Promised Land.
Promised Land? Cleveland?
No, Jasper.
Baltimore?
No, Jasper, the Promised Land.
Oh, the Promised Land. Minnesota?
I'm telling you, that's what we are. We do this every day. Why we want to leave Massa? Massa's been good to us. And that's what we do. Disney does the same thing. Disney feeds us all of this garbage about this type of diversity, that type of diversity. But who's getting diverse? All you see is them putting women into shit that men had. That's not diversity when you shitting on everybody else. How is that? That's slavery. They just putting one slave over the next. That's not being fair to everyone. That's not being fair. When you take and you put all of these gays and everything and transsexuals and put them in front of children and feed them all types of shit. Now you got the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want, right? Supposedly. So then why doesn't that child have the right to have the freedom to understand life as it's intended to be? That's all. But no, people don't like that. People don't want that. People want to be slaves. They don't want to raise their kids, so they put them in front of video games because they want their own life. When I was coming up, my parents worked and they came home and they was at home. And when they got back up, they went to work. Maybe on the weekends or during the summer times, we got to do things and change and move around and get away, but and go on trips or the beach and stuff like that. But we stayed together, we stayed a family, and we did our thing. And the family or the parents did what they were supposed to do. Remember, I was raised in the 60s, so there wasn't no diversity, but I loved the stuff back then was more high quality, far better. Like the cartoons today. I got finished watching Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest was a badass cartoon. Well, it wasn't the best as far as animation goes, as far as the movement, but the story, the quality of the art, and the adventure that they took you on, these were great. This was a great cartoon. But nowadays, because there was no diverseness, is what they claim, it's not considered to be, it wouldn't be considered to be as good or as great something. And that's why I'm saying we have to get off of these stupid mentalities. Every time another mentality comes around, people change. People like hip hop came along, and I love hip hop. I don't love it because I I followed every hip hop. You know, there was certain stuff that I liked, and other things that I'd rather not. Like for the most part, I'm an R&B man, so I didn't really care that much about hip hop. But there's a lot of hip hop stuff, especially from the '90s and the early 2000s, that I love. Even the stuff in the '80s and the late '70s, there was a lot of stuff that I loved. And so, but uh, look at what's going on today. There's none of that. There's none of the creativity because some new mentality comes along and we throw the old stuff away. The stuff that really got us paid. Hip hop put black folks on the map. Everybody around the world knows about American black folks because of hip hop. Everybody's changing their culture because of hip hop. People that the most of the world consider to be shit, right? Everybody talk about American black people like we wasn't shit until hip hop come along, and now everybody want to put grills in their face. Everybody's talking slang. Everybody wearing their clothes different. Everybody's done everything. But look at what happened to hip hop. We had clothing lines that everybody knew about the world. We had music that everybody knew about the world. We had names that everybody knew about the world. Movies that everybody knew about the world, but nobody knows about shit now. We don't even have no real American actors anymore. Really, it's mostly foreigners that's coming in and taking these spots. But people aren't concerned about none of that. They're not even thinking that you're getting crabbed in the barrel. You're getting crabbed in the barrel because people are slaves to the new age, and you're being you throwing yourself. You say, "Hey, I want people. We should get in with the gays. We should get in with the transsexuals. We should get in with these people." And guess what? All of these people come stepping over your back. All of these people keep stepping over your back. And there you is at the bottom of the bucket, Massa. I's been a good nigga. But where is I? I's at the bottom of the bucket, Massa. That's because people ain't doing for themselves. People are looking for others to do instead of you doing for your motherfucking self. How is that not being a slave when you looking for Massa to do everything for you? How is that not a slave? Instead of coming together and doing for yourself. I don't get it. I don't get it. I never will get it because it's idiotic to me. Just over mentalities and how people think. You don't want to get off of the slave mentality. You don't want to see that the only true freedom is being able to do everything you want for yourself. People, if you got rid of laws, you think that people would just automatically start running in, killing and robbing each other? No, you would learn to defend yourself. And those people, it's just like the Wild West days. They had one, maybe two sheriffs and maybe people who agreed to be the posse, which are the regular people of the community. They had one person who was the sheriff, maybe a deputy, and everybody carried a piece. Everybody did what they wanted to motherfucking do. You could do whatever you wanted to do when you wanted to do, because what was that one motherfucker gonna say or do to you? Come on. But we giving away all of that freedom and saying that this is a different time. It's a different time. No, it's not. You're still people. You're still people. Why you want to give up one thing? And that's that giving up one thing is what makes you a slave. This is exactly what's putting you in the position of slavery. Because look at the capitalist system. Look at it. You have to go to school, right, and get good grades in order to get to build your way to get a high paying job, right? But look at most of those high paying jobs. How many of them couldn't you do if you were shown how to do them? Okay, maybe there's some like engineering and stuff like that. There's certain things that you really want to make sure people know. But most money shit, And those are most of the jobs that really pay, are stuff that knows about moving money around. Law, you don't need that. You get rid of that, then you don't need law. Doctors, okay, but I really don't think we need doctors because there's too many motherfucking people on the planet as it is. So if some people go naturally, at least you won't be saying people targeting you. You just got to keep yourself healthy. And if you overweight or unhealthy, then that's on you. That's a natural selection. If God says it's your time, then God says it's your time. You need to start teaching your children this tougher way of life, the realism of life, not this fantasy that everybody's teaching their peoples about. Oh, you're supposed to live this lifestyle and have this and that. Of course, everybody wants that. You see this fantasy that everybody's been fed, but at one point you had to get in the dirt one way or the other. If you was gonna live, you had to get in the dirt. And the further back that you go, the more it was dependent on you for your survival, to get up and hustle so that you can eat well and provide for your mate and your children. And look at lions. I saw a video not too long ago about a lion just decided one day to chomp on its cub for no reason. Fucking crushed his leg. And the cub, little itty bitty baby. The cub couldn't fucking walk. They crippled him. But he can get around, but he was now slower. So when they decided to move, the lion got up. He's like, motherfucker, you holding us up. So he went and killed him. Just fucking killed him. Chomped him up. Jumped on him, chomped him up, and then left his corpse there. They didn't eat him. That's the reality of life. Life is a brutal bitch. And the more freedom that you want, the more you got to pay. So what happens if you get rid of money, right? You got to start, then what we have to do, work for ourselves. We know things that we need in order to survive. We need to grow food and deliver it to where we needed to do. You telling me that we can't do that? We need to make clothes and buildings and provide services to those houses like plumbing, sewage, water, and electricity. You telling me that we can't do that? Architecture and art and building construction. You telling us that we can't do that? Everything else you don't really need. Everything else is luxury. So you bring back jobs that we can do, you do them jobs, and we have a system that just documents our work time. If we automate those jobs, or many of those jobs, and then you have a lot of people there just to inspect and make sure things keep running right, then you could change the system where we don't have to answer to anyone. Nobody's a slave to anybody. Nobody has to answer to anybody but yourself. If you don't, I know there's people who are going to say, well, there's always going to be those who are lazy and don't want to do the work. Okay, so should they starve to death or be homeless? Or should they just not get the luxuries of life? Because actually, that's more motivating than hunger for most people. People will do anything to be able to keep up with the Joneses and have the PlayStations. You walk around in welfare clothes because you can only get hand-me-downs from other strangers, and people would know it because while everybody else is getting new clothes and having all of the new electronics and all of that stuff, because you did your share of the work. So whatever you want, you should be able to have. And it shouldn't be able to take, you need to work and bust your ass and have prices keep going on up while your salary stays the same. Or the prices of everything are going up so fast that your raises ain't keeping up with it. So you basically suffering the same situation. So the system, how it keeps you a slave. You go to school to try to learn, and if you can't learn the way somebody else learns, they put you and you're a failing or just barely passing, or say that you're a mediocre student, you're guaranteed not to get the best schools, not to get the best jobs. Even if you get go into college and get a good paying job, because of your beginnings, you're not going to get that top tier job, because all of that shit's going to follow you. So, and even worse, suppose now that's put you in middle class somewhere, or lower middle class to middle class. And then those other people who can't do well in school for whatever reason, they're bored. It doesn't matter. They stupid. They artists and think they too good. Whatever. Now these people then have to then get all of the menial jobs, right? Tell me now that who's gonna serve you coffee? Who's gonna cook you McDonald's? Who's gonna clean the subways? Who's gonna do all of the dirty work if the system, the capitalistic system, doesn't make sure that there are enough people to be servants? You telling me that that's not slavery? If this system sets you up, you telling me you need to be in school in order to get the jobs? No, what that does is set you up so that you can't get those jobs. Otherwise, you telling me if I took you to operate one of those big cranes where you have to just press on this lever, pull that lever, and watch how the shit's swinging, you telling me if you're there for a week or two and somebody's showing you everything you need to do in order to learn the job, that you couldn't do it, that you have to take all kinds of tests in order to get that job? No, the test is to weed you out because there's not enough positions. So these are hurdles that they put in front of you to ensure that certain people will be weeded out. This is not a test for inclusion. And that's what schools are for. So the system is built to make sure that certain people are guaranteed to stay at the bottom. Unless you have some kind of brilliant mind or brilliant way of thinking and come up with some other way, like singing, some kind of athletics, or you're just good enough to come up with an idea that you got to pay the that's another thing. Why do I got to pay the government for a patent? If I come up with a patent idea, why should I have to pay them $1,000 or $2,000 when these days we got the internet? But they not rushing to change that shit because they're always in your pocket, no matter what you're doing. So that's Massa. Massa is like, yo, come here, boy. That's who do you think made all of the inventions back in slavery? It was the slaves, the motherfuckers who was doing the work and said, listen, Massa, we could use this. Let me build this so that I can make the job easier. Whatever, if it's going to get the job done. And then Massa would get the patent. That's the same shit. Why should the government get a cut of my motherfucking patent by paying patent issuing fees and whatever, and then I got to pay them again when I'm getting my taxes, right? So they biting at your apple ass all the time. And then if I make money on that and I pass the money on to my kids, they get a cut again on the same money that you paid taxes on. The kids got to pay. And that's not slavery? Come on, man. That's sharecropping at its best. When the slaves were supposedly freed, they say, where we going to go, Massa? Well, you can still live here, but you got to pay. You got to pay to live. So you keep working the farm and you can live here. That's sharecropping. And that's what we do now. Yes, a boss. Yes, a boss. Osby's a good nigga. Now, oh, Massa, I'm telling you, this is what we doing. And I don't care what color you are a slave because the system says so. The system forces you to live this way. We can change it whenever we want to. There's billions. How many millions of people in the United States? There's at least 2 or 3 in New York City alone. So there's how many millions, a billion people in the United States, or some shit like that. How come we can't make our decisions for ourselves? Why do we need somebody who they call us? They're our representatives. They're not our leaders. They are not our leaders. They are representatives. Where are they leading us to? Where we gotta go? We ain't going nowhere. We ain't trudging through the fucking wilderness trying to get to the new frontier. No, but we allow them to call them our leaders. They're not leading shit. What are they leading? They're taking our money and they spending it, and most of it's going into their pockets. Them and their friends. So it's circumnavigating and coming back to them because they give the money to these rich motherfuckers, and then these rich motherfuckers give it right back to them with these lobbyists. How is that not slavery? Get rid of money, and then they become glorified bookkeepers. And then you keep changing the jobs, right? You keep changing the jobs. You make it so when you come out of school from learning what you're going to do, if you want to become a doctor or engineer, okay, you could keep going to school, but by the time you leave high school, you should know everything that you need to know, and that you need to learn to make it through life for the rest of your life. And then the rest of those jobs, like any type of job that you know is just manual labor. And how many jobs is that? Building bridges, that's manual labor. Architecture, the one who dreams it up and engineers it out. No, that's different. But the people who build it, you don't need no fucking high education for that. The average person, you hear a lot of people say, well, you want to get the best person for the job. No, all you need is a person to do the motherfucking work. So apprenticeships, people go back to doing apprenticeships. And like I said, the jobs that you can automate, you automate. And then as you get rid of all of that, and then you get rid of all of the oil or the fossil fuel usage, and as because we're gonna have to find some kind of way to automate all of this stuff. But in the ideal situation, we're able to get off of the fossil fuels and all of that, so that we're not, because otherwise, one way or another, we're gonna kill ourselves because the heat is gonna keep rising. Instead of just the West being arid and dry and having all of these fires and shit, it's gonna spread. That's just gonna spread from west to east. And then as that goes through the middle countries, the middle states, and the food starts getting affected more and more, what do you think is going to happen? You talking about law and all of this crap. What do you think happens when people can't find food? You should realize this during the COVID, that we shouldn't keep the situation the way it is, because sooner or later, one way or another, we are going to be going to war with each other, because we're going to be running out of food, or we're going to be running out of water. And water is going to be, you watch how people act a fool when that happens. That's it. You talk about we're sophisticated, and this is the 2021 and all of this bullshit. Well, first of all, I don't believe in time. So the year 2021 is a fraudulent piece of shit. It's just a way for humans to keep track of their own bullshit. You can't tell me that unless you could tell the time universally or galactically, then you can't tell me that 24 hours in a day, 365 a year on Earth, and it's totally different on Mercury and Mars, because it's all dependent upon the rotation of the planet and the orbit around the sun. That's how we tell time. So as soon as you leave the planet, time is out the fucking window. You can't tell me that you could use time, the calculations that we use on Earth, to calculate universal or galactic time. So right there, time is out the window. So you can take time and shove it up your ass. It's all about humans thinking we're better, and we got to progress. Time is movement, so we got to act like we're doing something better. No, we're the same creatures we always been. Matter of fact, we're worse because we are a slave to our bullshit. We're a slave to fire. We have to cook everything. The reason why we have to do it now is because our stomachs can't eat the germs that we used to eat back in the day. All of those enzymes and the good bacteria that used to be in our stomach have died off because there was no more use for them, because we stopped eating and drinking water. Why do you think dogs can drink water out the street and they don't get sick? Why do you think that? You watch Naked and Afraid, or not Naked and Afraid. Watch that. Go on Amazon and watch. I just got finished watching it. Not too about a couple of weeks back. Watch that. What do they call it? The Island. I forget the dude's name. It's a British dude, and they had the second season. They had men on one island and women on the other, and you could see they were suffering their asses off. They couldn't. The women was drinking toxic water. You couldn't clean it even if you boiled it, and they was drinking that shit because it was so stagnant. But you see, they have to boil the water. But there was a time when you could have drank the same water right out the ground, off the ground, just like any other animal did. Because as soon as you drink water off the ground, you basically drinking residue of other animal shit. Because animals shit everywhere. Bugs, birds, they shit everywhere. So water lands on the ground. You go and drink it to get your sustaining supply of water. That's how it used to be. But we started boiling water, cooking our food. So that slavery to fire made us weaker. Now we're fatter. We losing our teeth. We are losing the ability to grow wisdom teeth, because I found it in a video when I was looking up the original Eve. I was looking up the original Eve, and they was talking about mitochondrial DNA and all of that. And one of the videos said, nowadays human beings are losing their wisdom teeth, their capability. I wish I could find the video. I would show it to you right now, but it's been a while since I saw the video on this. So far back in my history, I don't know. Maybe on the computer, because usually I've been looking on TV on my television. So it's a different setup for the TV than it is for the computer. So you can't go as far back in your history. So maybe I need to do it on my computer. But anyway, that we're losing the ability because we're eating too much crappy food. We're eating all this processed, already been chewed, already been ground up, and so people aren't chewing. They just basically putting it in their mouth, moving it around and swallowing it. So, and then the vegetables that we used to eat it raw. So you have to gnaw on that. You used to have to gnaw on the gristle and the bone to get the meat off of that. So and we was all protein, because and so we had muscles. We had imagine the strength of a chimpanzee. Chimpanzee would rip us to shreds, and they're lightweight compared to us. Fuck us up. They're way stronger than us because they hang from trees all of the fucking time, and they're carrying that weight all the time. What do we carry? So we generationally getting weaker and weaker, genetically getting weaker and weaker and weaker because we're slave to fire. We're slave to clothing. We can't take the cold the way we used to. We can't take the germs the way we used to. Now we can't take the sun the way we used to. And people are getting sick from that because of this. The ozone is gone because of everything we do is polluting and taking away from the natural state of being. Oh, but that's progress. Yeah, we slaves to progress, and progress is killing us every step of the way. I showed you the video about John Oliver with the forever chemicals. That shit is in everything, but people take it every day. They all day, every day, they putting toxic chemicals in them. Every time you unwrap a candy bar, forever chemicals because of that plastic. Every time you drink a can of soda, every time you drink some milk, anything, some liquor. Well, maybe not as much as liquor because they cure it in a wooden barrel and then they put it in a glass jar. So mostly, but you don't want to be drinking liquor out of because it's a caustic, a corrosive type of liquid. It's strong and burns. So you don't want to put that in plastic. And there are some people putting alcohol in plastic, and people drink this shit. Pizza boxes, new car smell, you name it, and we're slaves to it all. We don't complain about it. We're slaves to the gaming industry. Back in the day, when Grand Theft Auto first came out, they gave you everything. Call of Duty, they gave you everything. So much that motherfuckers was like, oh, you need to stop making the campaign and just do the online. Oh, you need to stop doing the online and just make the campaign. Now, the motherfuckers ain't giving you shit. They're giving you fucked up online. They're giving you fucked up offline. And they expect you to pay. They expect you to pay. I talked about this before. Y'all keep fucking around and y'all gonna bring, y'all heard of original sin? Being born with the, and I'm not a religious person, but I was raised 12 years in the Catholic Church. But I don't believe in the Catholic Church no more because all books, I don't care what they are, where it comes from, was written by a man. Constantine put together the first Bible 300 years after Jesus died. So I don't want to insult any religious person because religion helped me be the person I am today. So I'm not putting down religion. I just don't believe in it. I believe in a God, but because there's too many wondrous things that goes on around me, and I don't believe that life is necessary on these planets. It didn't have to be life, so I believe something intelligent created us. So whatever. So but I we look at these things, and the Bible was created 300 years after Jesus Christ had supposedly died. So if the Bible was created 300 years by some dude who just wanted to control over the religion because it was a new burgeoning religion, why should I fall slave to it? Because every time some country takes over another country, the first thing they do is change their belief system so that you believe. And even in the Bible, it says, obey your masters. So this is, and not only does it say obey your masters, it also tells you work hard for your master. And believing in a savior helps you to do that. Why should I fight for my freedom when I have a savior coming to take me? This is all slave mentality. This is all slave mentality, and we're all slaves right now. Like I said, we slaves to fashion. Whenever something changes, we quick to jump on it. It doesn't matter how it makes you look. A lot of people in these skinny jeans. I don't know what the fuck they talking about. Like I see fat women, they got skinny jeans for fat women. Come on, that's an oxymoron in itself. Come on, skinny jeans for fat women, that's an impossibility. So then you got men wearing skinny jeans. I'm gonna do another video, but it's gonna be strictly about men being stupid, because men have been suckered into these gay fashion. But that's like I said. So remember, I'm an old school dude, so I don't wear all that tight shit. So yeah, y'all guys got to get up on some new shit. So anyway, let's get out of the slave mentality. You're a free person. If you chose to go out, and I know I'm not telling people to go out and harm anybody, but everything in the world to survive kills something else. Everything. Trees kill something. You could get stuck by a thorn. If you was living in the wild, you could get it was what the intentions were. You get stuck by a thorn, that shit can get septic and you die. Trees, there are insects that chew you up. Watch some of those shows. Watch Naked and Afraid. Those bugs chew you up. They chew on you enough. Guess what happens? You get septic and you die. That's what the world it was intended. But because we've made the world so soft, everybody's sitting around complaining. We ain't got nothing hunting us. You couldn't go and take a piss or a shit without having to worry if something was going to eat your ass. Remember, you had outhouses at one time where you had to go outside to take a shit. You go out in the middle of the night because you had to take a dump. You had a big meal. And you had to go drop a deuce and and a wolf or a bear, a pack of wolves or a bear or a mountain lion comes and get your ass. Talking about a dango ate my baby. Where do you think all that shit come from? Come on, it's just that we killing off everything else. That's why we don't have we can sit back and make out like we got it so good. But that doesn't mean life ain't still the same. That everything ain't out there still trying to kill you. So my thing is, that's your God-given right. To slay things to survive. You think because you letting somebody else do it, you're not responsible? Look at all of this bullshit people talking about the ecosystem and they want to get rid of meat. So what are you going to do with all of these fucking chickens, pork chops, beef, all of those animals? What are you going to do with them? Just let them sit there and die? How is that right? How is that right? Or are you going to murder them and just let them, the meat rot? How is that right? I don't understand it. So people talking about all this, we just want to save the planet, and I can't stand the idea of other animals killing another animal for my existence. Yeah, that's what they were put there for, asshole. Come on. Let's be realistic. Ideological bullshit is nothing. It means nothing. The real world is out here, and it still exists. All it would take was one thing to show that. You let anything happen, and you see the world will go right back to the way it was. There's a volcano in Yellowstone. It's not a volcano. It's called a caldera. It's a super volcano. There's multiples out there. You watch, there's videos on YouTube. Watch one. If one of those goes, and they're supposed to be ready to blow now. They said the last time it blew, it was like 630 years ago. And they expect it to blow every 600,000 years. So we 30 years overdue. So that's what I'm saying. Watch something like that happen. Watch it, and it would take a slow, maybe the people around Yellowstone would get wiped out quick, but all of us other people around the planet will go mad slow. because all of that toxic gases and fumes will go up into the atmosphere, circumnavigate the globe, block out the sun, drop chemicals in our water supply, and we will be murdering each other left and right because the food supply would go like that. The food supply would go like that because people ain't gonna be shipping food to you. So people who is closest to the distributors, they gonna eat until that's gone. All of us motherfuckers gonna be killing each other in supermarkets, trying to get the last of it. And then what you gonna eat? Each other, your dog? But no, we slave to the system. Yes, Massa. He's a good nigga. I'm telling you, he's a slave to the system. We don't want to get up off of it. And we can have it. That's what I'm saying. You can have your freedom. We can have it. All we have to do is take over. Now, we don't have to take anything over. All we got to do is be brave. And that's what's the problem. And you see this COVID. People are terrified. Oh, you got to wear your mask, even though everybody's saying, even in Jerusalem, where they made everybody get vaxxed, the place is like 90% vaccinated. And the most people who are getting the COVID next what's that variant is the motherfuckers who's been getting vaccinated. They say the studies claim that people who got it naturally were able to fight off the variants and all of the recurrences better than the people who are vaccinated. So who's to say that the vaccine ain't lowering your natural immunity? But we're slaves. People hear that it's killing somebody, and guess who's the people who dying most? The big, the fat boys, the people who are bigger, 90%. And I could pull this up. I could show y'all this. 90%. Let me look for it first. Hold on. 90% of the people who are catching the COVID and having more fatal results are overweight, obese. Where's the saying? Obese, vaccinations, obese. I'm gonna have to look it up again. I thought I saved it. Here we go. Yeah, but and and then they got commercials. Nah, 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 nah. Got these big women dancing around. But let's look at COVID and obesity. COVID, obese. COVID, obese. Come on, where's the one that I saw? Is this it? Yep, this is it. Hold on, here we come. Just gonna make sure that we get through here. Man, this is a long motherfucker. And then they got all of these black people like Serena. They got Serena Williams and all of these, and Dr. J and everybody telling us that we should get vaccinated, trying to blindside us with this garbage. And it's better that we stay unvaccinated because it's better for our natural immunity to take over. This shit is bullshit. But people are slaves because they see somebody with a name. That don't mean that they're not passing you out.
Severe cases of COVID-19 around the world. A study by the World Obesity Federation finds almost 90% of COVID deaths are from countries with high rates of obesity. Foreign correspondent Maggie Rulli joins us from London with more on this. Maggie, how was this study done, and what exactly did they find?
I want to be 100%. This is done like 6 months ago. Yeah, March 2021. So, almost exactly 6 months. March 5th.
Hey, Diane. Yeah, the findings here are really incredible. The study took a look at obesity rates and mortality, and they adjusted for things like age and how countries are reporting their COVID deaths. So this really was a look specifically at obesity and whether or not it correlated with mortality and deaths from COVID. And again, those findings you just mentioned, they are staggering. About 90% of deaths from COVID-19 were found in countries that had high rates of obesity. Those are the types of findings that you really cannot ignore, Diane.
Exactly.
And Maggie, I know you
You
spoke
got
with one of the
it
research.
right. You can't
But the
ignore that
numbers-
shit. But they're doing it, and we have to all pay because motherfuckers don't want to do the right thing for themselves. This is what I'm talking about. How do we have to suffer because of what people don't want to do when all they got to do is stop eating shit and do a little bit of exercise daily? That's all I'm saying. We slaves, but we slaves. We don't want to be free. We want to be able to tell people what to do, and we want other people telling people what to do. And it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid. I think it's utterly ridiculous. Why should we need to why can't we just be free? I want to work for freedom, not for money. That's what I want. I want to be able to work for freedom, not for money, because money is the problem. Money's the problem why everybody's suffering today. Everybody's talking this, everybody's talking that. But what they're not saying is that we could do without it. We could do without it. All we have to do is make the choice. Everybody choose to not work one day of the year or for several months. But I know we'd have to plan that. You have to stockpile food and all of that so that you can, but you'd have to make them suffer and let them know that we're not going to put up with it. They don't have to jump up and riot and all of that. Just stop working 2-3 times a year. Stockpile food and money and be out of there. They have to get, because they're suffering now from COVID and from people not wanting to work, and they trying to pass all of the fucking prices on to us. Why should we have to do that? Here we go.
Should I be doing something? I am 100%. Oh, we're dancing. I am 100%. And I'm only getting better. Oh. Yeah, here I come. Okay. That's a yeah. Uh-huh. I am 100%. And I'm only getting better. I am 100%. And I'm only getting better. I'm a dancer now.
The one agent answered the.
Sorry about that. I was taping a few things. So yeah, so people are they trying to back obesity. Oh, body positivity. How is it body positivity when everybody's got to pay for somebody else who don't want to do the right thing for themselves? That's forcing me. I gotta get jabbed because somebody else don't want to do right for themselves. They want clothes to be put out in a certain way. They want this because they want to sit around and let themselves get in this unhealthy condition, and COVID wouldn't be attacking them. It's coming for your ass first, Biggums. Come on. But that's how it is. That's what people want. That's what people want, man. So I don't get it. People love to be enslaved. People love to be enslaved. They want to be told what to do. They don't want the burden of being the responsibilities. And the longer we go, the more laws we make, the more so-called rights we lose, because all laws are things that says you can't do. And everything that says you can't do is limiting your freedom. And in this day and age, we shouldn't be having any, like I said, if people was going to be running around killing one another, that might happen at first. But once it settles down, so the fuck what? I'd rather be free and suffer the lives of a few weak motherfuckers and be able to not have to answer to nobody but myself. Because if you put in that new system, like I said, you don't want to work, then you don't get none of the luxuries. You don't get none of the good movies. You don't get no video games, no TV shows, all of that stuff. No good clothing. You got to get what everybody else stops wearing and sends to the thrift shop. These types of things. And tell me, I believe that the keeping up with the Joneses is more motivation than having people thrown on the street, because by that point, people can't do anything. There's no coming. It's very hard to come back from nothing. I'm not saying it can't be done, but like I said, and then we stop all of this immigration shit. You can't come over here. You can't become part of our country if that happens. I'm sorry. You can. Well, I'm not sorry, but that's just not going to happen. We're not going to let people just come. You could come, but there ain't going to be no jobs for you. The job's going to be for Americans first, and you can't become an American. You never become an American. Maybe your great-great-grandchildren become an American, but after they put in the work that all the other Americans put in. But that's just what I believe, in order to keep Americans first. So, and to get the freedom that we deserve, to be able to, we'd have to decentralize the internet so that we don't have to worry about other countries' influence our jobs and how we set shit up. The government, of course, we need somebody still in charge of our military, but everything else, that would be in charge of people, and those would be jobs that would be switched out, just like every other job. And then once you like get certain age, you can retire and take on almost any job you want to do, especially if it's one that's if it's like a creative type of a job. But other than that, or you could retire because you won't need money. You'll be able to eat and have shelter. So it'll be up to you, but you will make room for others, because like I said, once you automate most of those jobs, then there'll be limited jobs for Americans themselves. So if there's limited jobs, then you'll shorten your work day, and so, or your work year. You'll only be working like 2 to 3 or 4 months out of the year, and then you'll have more jobs for other people to go around. And like I said, who's gonna want to rob you when you got shit, when you can get whatever you want, unless you're a motherfucker who don't want to do shit. People who can, a handicap who can't do, will be able to do online shit, the bookkeeping and all of that stuff. Even though there's no money, they'll still be counting. You still got to keep the numbers right. So they'll be, you can still do everything we do today just without money. We got gold means nothing. It's just a piece of metal. Diamonds are just rock. Money is just paper. We realize that, and we get rid of it. We just provide for each other, just like a tribal system. Everybody do their part. You see a pothole, we bring these materials to where a couple of communities to share them, like garbage collections, stuff like that, where we could go and get the trucks. We have a schedule set up. Certain people go handle that shit. That's how we do it. And it's already set up. Everything is already set up. What we have to do is put people in the jobs. Rich people don't make jobs. Otherwise, everybody would have one. They don't make jobs. They're opening up something, and because we could build the buildings ourselves. We don't need them to do that. All it takes is manual labor. So if we build the buildings, build the machinery, we can do anything we want. The person with the idea, yeah, he could get a cut, he could do whatever. But that's all the rich man does, is come up with an idea. That doesn't mean that okay. Bill Gates, or who's the dude who makes the computers, the Apple dude, whatever his name is, doesn't matter. He's not building those computers. He came up with the idea, the first one, but he's not building them. It's people like you and me who's building them. So he can't get rich without you and me. So this is what I'm saying. But they make it out like he's doing us a favor by giving us a job. No, we can build computers. All we just needed was the idea. So fuck him. We know how to do the shit now. So what do we have to pay? Why do we have to kiss his ass or Bill Gates' ass or any of these other motherfuckers? Now, people like who like Facebook and all of that, who got people. He's because that's something that he can do by himself. Basically, he just need people to keep it running. That's different. That's different. That's not the same type of job. But then we know how to build these types of things. Like I said, people will still do the job. Why should he get paid? He had the idea. Okay. So being that you had the idea that provided for so many people, then you get a lot taken off your work labor schedule. So you can retire earlier so that somebody else can get in and get their thing done and move on. see, say like making movies and being engineers and doctors is the top tier. And you have tiers of jobs, and as you get older, you'll be able to apply for jobs. And there's no job that you won't be able to get if you want to work it. You will have to at some point in your life, because like every year or two, people will change jobs, and you'll be able to have multiple careers throughout your life. You'll be able to retire early and then do a career that you want to for the rest of your life, provide whatever, because you won't be necessary. All we need is the necessary jobs to stay functional, and like electric, gas, and sewage, and all of these types of things. Keeping construction, your buildings and infrastructure, all of that. That's all we need for regular hands on, because the machines, we can't depend on that. But actual hands on, everything else is luxury. So that means we can take those jobs and we can do what we want with them. We can work them how we want to. We don't have to bust and kill ourselves and the drudgery every day. No, imagine being able to work 3, 4, 5 months out of the year, and the rest you can go to school. You can go back to school, learn whatever the hell you want, and then go back into the market and do whatever you want. You see, it's up to us. And then the schools, imagine cutting all of that shit. You don't have to learn science if you don't want to. You don't have to learn social studies, because all of that is just hurdles. None of that is necessary. Social studies and history, all of that shit is just stuff that's, like I said, watch the Matrix Doctrine on Monday. We're going to handle the schools thing. That's just another system of control. But yeah, we're gonna once you learn, you can go back for the better jobs, go back to school for engineering. But once you turn a teenager, it's up to you. You don't have to, or you can continue and become an engineer. But as a young person, you won't get that engineering job right out the gate. You go into working just like every other young person. You do the lower tier jobs, and as you get older, you'll be able to apply for the better jobs and move up. And then as you get older, you'll be able to get into those higher tier jobs, and then you work your 2 or 3 years, and then you out of there, and then make room for somebody else. You can retire, and like I said, then you can do things and become a regular worker for something, doing what you want to do, love or to do. Or you can, everybody can you can put nursing into high school instead of social studies and all of that stuff, so that people can learn nursing and imagine having 10 nurses, 20 nurses on the block, 2 or 3 or 4 doctors on the block, and people, you could be able to take care of people who getting old and sick and all of these things. Everybody would be right next door. This is how things should be. Get rid of the slavery. Stop fucking kissing ass. Why would people want to? I don't understand. This is what bothers me about the human race, that we get locked into something and we get stuck on it. Petty shit. When all you have to do, I'm not a genius. I'm not. I went to college for half a year or some shit, and I played ping pong and lift weights most of the time. So I'm not a genius, man. I'm just an artist. I'm a creative dude, and I looking at things with whether it be out of space and realizing that half of the shit that these people talk is nonsense. But even though I loved outer space, I love hearing about all that shit. But I realize this half of the shit they say is bullshit. But all of these things is just other systems to make us believe that we're so intelligent. I had an argument with my friend about splitting the atom. Did we split the atom or did we just blow some shit up? Come on. That's a very, have we ever really seen an atom? And how did we actually split it? Come on. Think about it. Think about it. Just put a little bit of effort and you'll realize they didn't split shit. Somebody has a theory. They write some math equations down. They write some, and I showed this on my last matrix doctrine. They write some math equations down, and this is how they come up with their theories of how an atom and an electron and neutrons work. They don't know. They've never seen one in their life. These are all speculation, but then they say they split one because they say nuclear fusion is when atoms split and we split atoms. No, what y'all doing is causing some kind of a chain reaction. Y'all put one thing next to another thing and cause a reaction, and y'all are calling it splitting the atom. But you ain't split shit. All you did was blow some shit up and put shit together. That's what humans do. It's just like a puzzle. You got all of the edges straight, right? The outside pieces. Those are easy to put together because you know that. That's all of the things we know. We know how fast light travels on Earth. We know that oxygen exists on Earth. We know that gravity exists on Earth. We know that the rotation of the sun, we know all of these different things. And then we're speculating. So imagine you have all of the edges of a puzzle, but you don't have none of the middle pieces. Everything you have to make it up. The only pieces that come close to being real or right or correct are the first pieces that you make, because that's going to be based off the reality that you already know. And those are the edge pieces. Everything else in the middle, and that's what, to me, and that's how these are all systems of controlling your brain and making you a slave, putting you in a slave mentality. If you believe that we're this and we're that, and that these people are brilliant, intelligent people, yeah, but what have we gotten from space travel? Name one great thing that we've gotten from space travel besides Teflon or some shit that they made to build a rocket. It's slave mentality. We're not as great as what we think we are. That's why we keep finding out the things that we believe was good for us at one point ain't good for us now, because we're not as brilliant as we want. What we are snake oil salesmen. All of these people got something to sell you, and they want you to buy it, so they feed you bullshit. And it's been going on for years, and we've conditioned ourselves to be slaves to the bullshit, because we get it bombarded on us every day. That's why this feminist, transsexual, all of this stuff is coming up. Pronouns and all of that garbage. That's why, because people that don't have wolves chasing them. You think motherfuckers would be worrying about any of that shit? You think fat people would be dying of COVID if wolves and bears and mountain lions are still out there chasing motherfuckers? Hell no, because they'd be so busy worried about getting chased. I'm telling you. I'm about to call it. It's 2 hours now. I'm gonna do a little bit of shilling for Comicsgate comics. So if y'all don't want to hang out for that, but this is what I'm here for, to sell comic books, man. I'm gonna start mixing it in a little bit more during my talking points. I'm going to try and break these down into mini videos so that I don't have to do as much work. So, but yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do. And then I'll take breaks to check out some of these comic books that's out here, like John Malin's Godlike, and Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex, and we're going to take a look at all of those. And before we get up out of here, I'm already missed my show. I watched the challenge, and I forgot it was coming on at 8:00 on a Wednesday. I put it on at 7. So anyway, I already missed that, but I'm going to be doing some reviews of the last year's. I recorded all of the last year's off of the TV, like that Old Navy commercial. It's not going to be that good. I can't show the whole shows anyway, but I like the show because it shows weakness in people, and that's why I call this the Power Matrix. So I call this Power Time at first. Now I'm calling it the Power Matrix to connect it to the Matrix Doctrine, but it's all about having power for yourself, taking in your own strength, using your own mind, and stop falling for all other people's game. That's why I stopped. I'm not a religious person because I don't want to hear other people's game. If who knows more about God than you? Nobody. Nobody. There's not a priest, a preacher, anybody on the planet that knows more about God than you do. They know the same exact amount about God as you. So don't let other people tell you anything. Find out for yourself. Do your own research for whatever it is. It doesn't matter about religion or anything. Don't just take somebody else's word for shit, because other people are usually wrong. Try to look it up. I know it's hard these days. Back in the days, we had encyclopedias and we looked it up. Either was there or it wasn't. You go to the library, you look for it, it's either there or it's not. But these days, you come on the internet, you expect the internet to have everything, and you search and search and search, and you can't find shit because they're so busy worrying about feeding you what they think you want or what could get the most traffic instead of just trying to put out the information. So here we go. Some shilling for CG. Let's go to CG Tracker, people. Oh, I didn't share. We're gonna go to CG Tracker. This is a website for CG comic books, Comicsgate comic books, and I'm Comicsgate for life. In case y'all didn't know. What, they removed the top tier stuff? They removed Ethan Van Sciver's book? Oh, there he is. I was wondering. Okay. Ethan don't need no shilling from me, but back Rainbow the Brute, he's doing I need help. He doesn't need help. But back Expendables Go to Hell. I think the Expendables is closed out by now. Back Cash Grab, again, I think that's closed up. Back Graveyard Shift 3. Is this closed out? Yeah, this is closed. I'm gonna have to get me a list, so close that down. We don't need that. So we're gonna go down here because I know Fragga Boom. Is he closed out? Or is he still funding? He's in demand. Yeah, back Fragga Boom. He's starting his drawer right now. So that's another reason why I want to get up out of here. So yeah, back Fragga Boom's Black Flag Pineapple Perceptions, because Fragga Boom's the man and he's drawing his ass off. I'm learning a lot. And yeah, he's doing his thing. You can't beat this art. He's 20 something year. He's been in it. Did I put out the video? Oh no, I got to put out my videos. I did a video with some comic books. I'm going to be doing some comic books on display on Goddamned Comics. That's my other channel. It's spelled like goddamned, except for the A at the end is a O. Goddamned Comics. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a review on Black Flag #1, the original book. So go back, Dan Frager's Pineapple Perception, Black Flag. And here we go. Shane Davis's Jawbreakers, I think that's closed out. Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex. Hold on. How does Inglorious Rex get in front of Godlike? Where I missed something. There it is. I think he closed out. Did he close out? Yeah, that's why. He does his quick, man. 30 days and he's out, bro, baby. You got to get in and get out, man. He's like a hitman. He gets in and he's out. So I wish I could get my campaigns to something like that, bro. I get my campaigns to something like that. Mine's is coming. Mine's is coming. Oops, I keep pressing the wrong thing. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to press. Pineapple Perception and Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex comic book. He's had a wonderful campaign. He's almost at 200 grand. He's almost at Deuces, bitch. This is what it's called. It's Deuces. He's almost at Deuces, bitch. Six Figures Young Lady is 100. 200 grand is Deuces, bitch. Because you passed that milestone. So let's help get Shane Davis to Deuces, bitch. You don't need that much more. 1,500. Less than 1,500. 14 and change. So that's not that much. Not if you really look at it. Some really good art. Matter of fact, I screen grabbed a couple of these so that I can check out some of his ink work because I need help. And I'm using everybody, so it's not just Shane. I'm trying to learn some new, teaching this old dog some new tricks. So you can see his art is good. I'm learning some, how do you say, I'm learning some composition. Learning composition and all of that. Woohoo! Got that ass in your face. Bad, twerk, 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 making it twerk, baby, making it drop it like a hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like a hot, drop it like it hot. Oh, how come they didn't black this one out? It's still right there. It's still right there. That hole over there. It's still right there, man. I wonder what this is. A transporter pad? All right. Back Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex fighting some kind of fighting monster fighting. I think these guys are like these Rexes. If I'm getting it correct, these Rexes are like stand-ins for the fighters. These guys are plugged into these big dudes, and the big dudes fight for the small guys. Now I want to see how that. I'd like to see how he makes that dangerous, because it's not going to be the same if he's not threatened. If the good guy's not threatened, these humans are not threatened by taking losses. That's a good question to ask Shane. All right, let me see. We can do one more. She Omnibus. Style Like Cats. Trent Kanuga. Let's try Trent Kanuga. Trent Kanuga, in demand. Let's go back. Trent Kanuga. He made it into the Six Figures Young Lady. Man, I wish I could do that for my first. He's got the history. He's got the career. He's got the friends. So it's who you know, too. It's also about who you know. It's not just about what you can do. He's putting out this Creed. See, I was thinking about doing this same shit too, because I don't know if I should put out 100+ pages for $25. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of pages, a lot of work. And I don't know about how much the books are going to cost me yet to print and all of that stuff. I got to call up some people and find out all of that shit. I got to get the numbers to these printing places and start making some phone calls so I can figure that out. See exactly how much it's going to cost, because I'm going to need to know, because I don't want to charge $80. Well, this is for a lot more. He's charging $15, $40 for the two. See, that's what I'm thinking, because it's going to be a 68 page. Mine's Might is going to be 68 pages, giant size first edition. And then if you're talking about floppies, I want the first book to be 118 pages. That's what I would plan, but I'm not sure if I should break it down, because everybody's doing 48 pages. Even a 68 pager is more than what a lot of people are doing. So I could put out the 68 page giant size first edition and then come out with the second one. Or I could put them both out at the same time like this. The 68 and 48, and make the 48 like $5 cheaper. So if it's 25 for the 68, it'd be 20 for the 48. And then the next one, it will be regularly 68 pages, because I want to break it down into 3 separate books for floppies, 20 something pages each. So yeah, that's what I want to do. I was just thinking out loud. So back Trent Kanuga's Creed Reimaginary, books 1 and 2. And I'm going to say thank you to Trent and all the Comics Gate for life. And thanks for coming and checking me out. I'm going to try and keep a more consistent schedule, because this is really hard for me. I'm writing 4 books. I'm writing Might, and that has 3 alternate stories in there. There's I showed you earlier. I shouldn't have closed out my. There's gonna be Mega. He's gonna be a origin story within the pages. As soon as the book starts, you're gonna be introduced to the beginnings of the origin of Mega, and the beginnings to the origin of Cube in the second power, or Cube squared. That's like a artificial intelligence thing. And you're going to be introduced to a bad guy. There's going to be Mega, Cube to the second power, and a bad guy's origin. And he's going to be in the tech industry also. He's going to be... I'm not going to tell you his name yet, because it's Dr. Synapse. It's going to eventually be Dr. Synapse, and he's going to be a recurring bad guy that keeps coming back from time to time. and he's got something against one of the humans in the regular people. I guess you could say he has something against my version of a what's his name? Uh, 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 who's the dude from Superman? The big wig, the corporate dude. I forget his name. The bald guy. I forget his goddamn name. How the hell can I forget his name? Somebody write his name in the chat. But anyway, he'd be my Lex Luthor. He'd be my version of Lex Luthor, a corporate bigwig who runs things, and he does his a big time corporate dude. So he's got something against him, and so he's gonna be recurring. He's gonna be a recurring character for a little while at least. And then so there's gonna be those three dudes coming in the pages of Might, and then Might is gonna have his own story, and we've got 11 heroes that are among his group of heroes that he works with, and so that's how it's going to jump off. Those guys are going to have a situation where some dudes from out of town come in to steal shit, and they happen to steal some important shit, and Mike has to go after them and find out why, and find out the players and all of that stuff, because it's major implications. It's a major threat to the people. And if things happen in the way that these people are trying to set it up. And so and not only that, there's going to be these Illuminati groups who's waging a war in the background. So there's a lot going to be happening. And then there's going to be 3 guest stars that can spin off into their own books. And that's going to be my a character called Cameo, a female, a dude called Everman, and they're going to be in the first book. They're going to help Mike out with his problem, and then they're going to be out. So you'll get to see how they fight, their powers, all of that shit. So it's Everman, Cameo, and a character I call my Nebula character. And the only reason why I'm not saying his name is because I think it's in your face name, and it'll be easy for somebody to steal it. So that's why I'm not trying to pull it out right now. I'm gonna hold the name until and not only that, I want to save some things for the launch day to launch. I'm gonna be doing a lot of reveals. I'm gonna try and get on a lot of people's live streams, and being that I have so many characters, I'm gonna be doing, like, if I got 12 characters, good guys, and then I got a bunch of bad guys. So I'm gonna be doing at least 12 bad guys. So there's going to be a lot of reveals, a lot of little stories, and none of it's going to be about the stories at hand. It's just going to be like some lead up stuff or some history stuff that happens between the time that Mike was created back in the 60s, when this meteorite crashes to Earth and this viscous material comes out and seeps out of this asteroid and starts mutating everything, and it takes them a lot. People are dying, heroes are dying, and then the government pulls this experiment that they had back in the 50s after the 40s, when they discovered the atomic Manhattan Project. In the 50s, they find God particles, and they do they come up with an experiment, but they mothball it because they don't know if they can control the results. So, but now they have no choice. So they create Might and a few other people. They go to battle the substance, and they wind up rendering it inert. And basically, that's what happens. These guys come from New York, steal a sample of this substance because they're so scared of this substance. They dig up like a foot of earth for like a mile. So there's tons of earth, and they put it on this. It takes them years to finally build it, but they build a space station where they're doing all the experiments. They don't want to send it into the sun because they used fire on it and it didn't do nothing to it. So they didn't want to send it into the sun and have some kind of maybe have some kind of reaction. So they didn't just want to ship it out into space and have some reaction with some other civilization or something out there and it comes back. So they just was doing they put it on the space station and they've been doing all the kinds of experiments. And once in a while they send samples to Earth for experimentation, and one of these samples gets stolen, and that's what begins a whole. It's going to be a tumbleweed effect. This stuff just going to keep coming because one thing is going to lead into another. Just like how Jeff Johns, he usually starts another story just before he's finishing up with one story. That's how this is going to be. One story is going to lead into another story, and into an. I already know what they are. So I can tell y'all. So this is going to be several books down the line, and then we're going to wind up having stuff happen in space, and we're going to wind up going out into space, and this is going to lead us to be introduced to other civilizations from space, and then other things and altercations, and then while Might and some characters are off world, we're going to have like I'll have the main book be about Might going off world, and then I'll have a supplemental book with the other characters that stay on world, the things that they get into, and that's when you'll learn more about the backup characters, more origin stories, and any stories that's going on the planet while Mike isn't there, or if he's in an alternate dimension, because we will have alternate dimensions. We won't have alternate universes, meaning there won't be any Mike fighting himself from another universe type shit. We're not going to have that. There won't be no traveling in time and just making everything go away because we travel back or we solve some solution and solve the problem. If something happens in my universe, that's going to be it. If a whole half of the civilization dies out, then that's just going to be it. If half of my population of superheroes die out, then that's just going to be it. So, yeah, I'm going to have all kinds of stories that leads us. We're going to have galactic threats. We're going to have threats to our solar system. We're going to have threats to the planet. We're going to have threats to the universe. We're going to have threats to everything. We're just going to build on it, build on it, build on it until we finally get to the finishing point. And then hopefully then I'll finish the story and start another book. And hopefully that'll be like 10, 20 years from now. So, yeah, that's what I've got planned for Mike. So, thanks for coming through and keep looking for me. I'm gonna be coming out with stuff. I'm working hard on getting my inks and my colors and everything right, and I'm gonna be able to start showing y'all some art. Here, maybe I could show you something that I put together with stuff that I did before I started trying to ink all of this shit. There's a lot of stuff that I changed on these characters. So here, check this out before we leave. You can check this out while we signing out. Do, 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 do. I appreciate y'all coming through, spending some time with me. I'm working on those guys. Some of them are colored, some of them are inked. A lot of them are inked. Some of them are colored, and I just got to start plugging them in. And I should have already done that, but I'm also trying to design. Let me see if I have that. I'm trying to design a map. Oh, that's Mega. That's one of the dudes that's coming. He's gonna have his origin in the pages, but I'm trying to design what here. This is supposed to be the map of of uh, of of this right here is Portsburg. This is Portsburg right here, and these two right here, these are connecting cities. So I'm actually going to have 3 cities, and they in order to use the port, because there's a river right here that runs right down here and runs out here, and these are islands right here that kind of guard the portway. And over here, there's somebody lives in one of these islands. A main character that's gonna be a lot of story gonna be based around him. Warhammer. He kind of works for that dude. He's a magical dude, so there's gonna be also magic in here. There's gonna be demons that's gonna come later on. They're gonna be a discovery of demons and stuff like that. So we're gonna have everything. So that's why I'm saying I'm gonna need the time to get all of my stories out. Because I got all of those characters, and so I'm cutting this up into poor places and rich places, because this is like, say this is a main city, uh, New York or California or whatever. I'm trying to divvy this up into little, like, if it was, this would be like 5 boroughs in here, and then have little offshoots. These are lakes up here. So over here, I'm going to have rich people living over here in the lake area. And then over here is going to be like, I guess like a Harlem. Up here is going to be like the Harlem. And then back here is going to be like a Bronx or something. And down here is going to be the main city, New York City. And then down here is going to have like some rural type, country type places. But we're going to be like 4 or 5 boroughs, maybe 6. And there's going to be some rural places. And then over here, because I'm going to have smuggling, because remember, the ports is bringing in ships and goods and all kinds of stuff. So I want smuggling and all of that stuff. I'm trying to set stuff up. I got a rival businessman over here in this place who's developing a new energy. So I'm going to have new energy. I'm going to have 2 new energies that's going to be introduced. More than that down the line, but for now, there's going to be 2 new energies, and there's going to be a new type of metal that's going to be because of one of the energies that this guy discovers, and he's going to be giving our main corporate dude that I was talking about. His name is Bryce Maddox, the dude from Portsburg. He's in control of Mad Tech and Maddox Industries. So he's gonna be like the Lex Luthor dude over here, and his rival over here is gonna be an up and comer that just discovers a new energy that really is putting him in the fast track, and he's kind of suffering. So there's gonna be rivalries. There's gonna be all kinds of stuff going on, and we got an underworld dude, like I showed y'all. I showed your homeboy. He's gonna be in charge of the underworld, which is literally underground. So they're gonna have like underground gambling and underground gladiatorial fighting and all kinds of stuff like that. Gonna have regular people fighting, super powered people fighting, and all for the elite. You can't even get in there if you're a regular person. This is all for elite people, high elite. So you might even see some of the Illuminati type people in these places. And that's what I'm saying. There's so many different things that I've got set up. This is going to be a spectacular story. It's going to be coming at you hard and fast because I got a lot of characters, a lot of story coming with those characters, and y'all are just going to love it because I'm excited as fuck. I'm telling you. So, yeah, people. Oh, I didn't share it, did I? I didn't share it. So let me just show it to you so that y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, I closed it out. Damn it. All right. So can't share it because I have to. Y'all be waiting too long, and I gotta piss. I gotta hit the head, and I wanted to catch up with see what Dan Frager is doing. So go over, check out Dan Frager Boom, and come back on Friday. We're gonna do what's this? What's the one for Friday? Oh, women want to be men. Women are trying to be men out here. Don't let women make you a bitch. All right. I'm out, people. Thanks for coming through. Big ups. Come back to the pit. This is the pit. Over the other side is the goddom. So we're monstrositus X over here. So over there, I'm gonna become godling because I'm godling on PlayStation, right? So I'm gonna become godling, and the goddom is over there on Goddom the comics, and so I'm gonna become godling over there, but still have my mind. I'm Jay DeLille. That's my artist name, Jay DeLille. That's my name, and so I'm gonna be Jay DeLille, the godling over there, and over here at the pit. That's the goddom. This is the pit. So I'm Monstrositus X. We're gonna have monsters. I'm drawing some monsters and stuff for the channel, and I'm gonna try and put some monster stuff displayed on the here and put it in the backgrounds and all of that stuff. So when I get finished, I got a lot to do. Whew. A lot of writing, 4 stories plus the characters. Yeah, a lot to do. So I'm out of here, people. It's 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That's a half hour longer than I intended, but I just got to my mouth was running. My mouth is running like a faucet. So, all right, y'all, I'm out of here. Thanks for coming through. Peace.